I'm 42 years old. It's 4:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I'm standing in my boss's office. He's looking at me across the desk with the specific kind of confused face people make when they've been shown a magic trick and can't figure out where the coin went. I just told him I'm quitting. He asked why. I said, it's just time. He asked if it was about money. I said no. He asked what I was going to do. I said I wasn't sure yet. He wasn't sure how to respond. Neither was I, but I meant it. Because I don't have to be here anymore. I'll never have to be here again. The exact number that got me here is $1.5 million. But the reason it's $1.5 million and not $500,000 or $10 million is the actual point of this story. I'll tell you the answer right now so you know what you're watching for. The number you need to retire is not a fixed dollar amount. It's a personal number. And the formula is simple. 25 times your annual expenses. That's it. That's the whole answer. If you spend $30,000 a year, you need $750,000 invested. If you spend $60,000 a year, you need $1.5 million. If you spend $100,000 a year, you need $2.5 million. If you spend $200,000 a year, you need $5 million. I spent about $50,000 a year most years. 25 times $50,000 is $1.25 million. I had $1.5 million. That's why I could walk into my boss's office and say it's just time and mean it. The rest of this story is how I got there. I was 22 when I started. I had $8,000 in a savings account. My paycheck was $2,400 a month after taxes. I was living in a room in someone else's apartment for $600 a month. I opened a brokerage account on a Sunday night in October. I moved $2,000 into it. I bought a boring total market index fund. I started putting $400 a month into it, automatic. Every payday. No exceptions. That's the whole trick. I know because I did nothing else for 20 years. By 25, the account was $22,000. By 28, it was $50,000. By 32, it was $150,000. Not because I earned more, I did, slightly, but not much. Because the market averaged around 8% a year during that stretch. And every dollar the market gave me, I never touched. It compounded on itself. That's the second half of the trick. I didn't touch it. Marcus at work, my friend for 8 years, refinanced his truck 3 times. He got a bigger apartment. He got a second bigger apartment. He got married. He got divorced. He complained about money every single day for the 8 years we sat next to each other. I never told him what was in my account. He never asked. He thought I was just quiet and cheap. I was just quiet. By 35, the account crossed $400,000. By 38, it was $700,000. By 40, it was $1.1 million. At 40, I did the math for the first time in years, not on a spreadsheet, just in my head. My rent was $1,400 a month. My groceries were about $300. My car payment was $0 because I paid off my 2008 Honda a decade earlier and never replaced it. My phone was $60. My electric bill was $110. My car insurance was $95. Total, about $2,100 a month, about $25,000 a year. 25 times 25,000 is $625,000. I had $1.1 million. I could have quit at 40, but I didn't. Not yet. Because the math is right on paper and less right in practice. Markets crash. Inflation shows up. Sometimes life throws you a healthcare bill you didn't plan for. I kept working 2 more years. Not because I needed the money. Because I wanted the buffer. At 42, the account was $1.5 million. The number wasn't magic. It was $625,000 for the base, plus $875,000 for the cushion. Because probably enough, and definitely enough, are different words. And when you're walking into your boss's office to end the only job you've ever had, you want to be walking on the second word. So on that Tuesday, at 4:30 p.m., standing in that office, this is what I actually knew. My portfolio at $1.5 million, at a 4% annual withdrawal, would produce $60,000 a year indefinitely, adjusting for inflation, based on 100 years of historical market data. I spent $50,000 a year. That gave me $10,000 a year in surplus. Compound the surplus for a decade and I'd have another $150,000 in extra buffer on top. If the market crashed 30% tomorrow, my portfolio would be worth $1.05 million. 4% of $1.05 million is $42,000. My expenses were $50,000. Even in a historic crash, I'd have to cut $8,000 from my budget for one bad year to survive. I could cut $8,000 from my life in an afternoon. That's what financial independence actually means. Not rich. Not never worry about money. It means the worst case scenario is inconvenient, not fatal. I said it's just time because I didn't want to explain any of that to my boss. He wouldn't have believed me. He was making $190,000 a year and spending $185,000 of it and had no idea how to stop. I left the building at 4:52 p.m. I got into my 2008 Honda. It has 194,000 miles on it now. Bluetooth still works. I sat in the driver's seat for 3 minutes before I turned the key. Not because I was crying. Because for the first time in 20 years, I didn't have to be anywhere Wednesday morning. I'm 46 now. 4 years since I walked out. I wake up around 7. Sometimes 8. I make coffee. I read for an hour, usually a book that has nothing to do with money, because I don't think about money anymore. I walk to a cafe on Main Street most Tuesdays. Same cafe. The staff knows my order. Coffee, 1 croissant, side of butter, $6.80. I sit outside if the weather is good. I watch the people rushing past on their way to work. I feel something for them, but I don't feel above them. I felt exactly like they feel for 20 years. The only difference is that I stopped increasing my expenses when my income went up. That's the whole story. The portfolio is $2.1 million now. I take out about $52,000 a year. The market has averaged around 7% over these 4 years, so it keeps growing on its own, even after my withdrawals. I don't check it more than once every few months. Marcus called me last month. He's 50. He's still at the company. He asked how I did it. I said slowly. He waited for more. I didn't have more. He hung up frustrated. He always does. If you take one thing from this, take this. The number you need is not $10 million. It's not $5 million. It's not some celebrity retirement figure. It's 25 times whatever your life actually costs. If you can bring your annual expenses down to $40,000, you need $1 million. That's achievable in 20 years on almost any middle-class salary if you start early and never touch it. If your expenses are $60,000, you need $1.5 million. Slightly harder, but still on the table. If your expenses are $120,000, you need $3 million, which is why the smartest move in your 20s isn't earning more. It's spending less. Markets don't move in straight lines. Returns aren't guaranteed. Taxes, inflation, and healthcare will shift the number. This is a working answer, not a promise. But it's a working answer that has held up for 100 years. You don't need a certain amount of money to never work again. You need enough invested to pay for the life you actually want. And the smaller you keep that life, the faster the number shows up. I got there at 42. Somewhere right now, someone is 22, sitting at their kitchen table on a Sunday night in October, opening a brokerage account for the first time. They have $8,000. Nobody around them will notice what they're doing for the next 20 years, which is exactly what needs to happen. Because the number doesn't change who you are. The account just decides who you're becoming by what you feed it.